Hey there Facebook, it is Vanessa here again, your speaker, trainer and coach from Live, Love, Give, and today I am bringing you yet another message from all the amazing wisdom that was shared a couple of nights ago when I went to one of Dr. John Demartini's just his public talks, and it was so valuable, and I wrote a bunch of different notes and just a few things that I really felt were like on absolute point that I really wanted to share with you guys. And so following on from yesterday, what I shared with you, another really great point that Dr. John Demartini spoke into, which I'm like, oh, this is the bomb, was absolutely that it scares people to stand out because they're so worried about fitting in. And that's really what I want to, talk to you guys about, because at the end of the day, every single human being has a genius. Whether we think like, oh yeah, as if, but absolutely we do. And what prevents us from realizing our genius is this fear of constantly just looking to fit in as opposed to stand out. Because we're so worried about trying to fit in, trying to fit the mold, and it's how our schooling system is set up, it's how all of our systems in society are kind of set up in order to make us really good little boys and girls so that we can go and not cause a ruckus and we can follow suit and take on the jobs and the responsibilities that we should and not stand out and create a fuss, right? And so what happens is when we're always trying to fit in, we actually don't get to tap into the true authenticity of who we are, which is where our genius is accessed, and we prevent our gifts being shared with the world, and we prevent ourselves from experiencing fulfillment. The type of fulfillment that can only come when we are being all of who we are and finding ways of serving humanity with the things that are inspiring to us the most. So that kind of brings me to this point of inspiration yet again, because if you don't tap into what inspires you at the deepest levels, you're always going to be trying to mold yourself to the expectations of society, of others, whatever it is. You're always going to be trying to fit in, and that's going to be your focus, as opposed to tapping into and discovering your unique gift that we all have. Every single one of us has something unique to offer, some unique genius. And if we only allow ourselves to fully immerse ourselves in that, discover what it is, discover who we are, what we really want, what our strengths, what our gifts are, what we're passionate and inspired by, and really give ourselves permission to fully go after that, until we get to that point, we're just going to be in this up and down roller coaster of life that never feels quite fulfilling. It goes from one extreme to the other. We're either in pain and suffering, or we're in this momentary, pleasure, or, gratification, instant gratification, and it's never sustainable. And we're just constantly up and down and all around, feeling totally disempowered, out of control in our lives and in our fulfillment. And we start placing all of the responsibility of our happiness and our fulfillment into external sources, which we cannot control, we can only influence, and we create our own suffering of our lives. And in my opinion, we waste our lives. We live totally regret-filled lives when we go on that journey, as opposed to the person who gives themselves permission to actually go on that journey of discovering what am I most inspired by. And despite the repercussions in my external world, I'm going to align with this. I'm going to trust and believe in myself. And I guarantee you, if you go on that journey, you will find and figure out a way for your gifts, for what you're most inspired by, to actually serve humanity. And as Demartini would say, is that every single person has a mission within them. So you can either consume or you can get on mission. All right. And you can either, try and fit in, or you can stand out. you can, and so many people are so scared of that because they're scared of what the repercussions will be, if they stand out too high. You've probably heard here in Australia, we have a concept called tall poppy syndrome. So it's when somebody's like standing out too much, we want to chop them down, bring them back down to level. And that really isn't healthy if those people who are standing out from the crowd are actually in empowered places. They're really moving in the direction of their inspiration. They're not being up themselves and like just this person who's like overly cocky or confident from a fear-driven place. They're actually moving in the direction of inspiration and authenticity. And that is at a human level, that's what we all yearn for more of. That authenticity piece is everything, and a great way of tapping into who the authentic you is to identify what inspires you at your deepest level. Stop worrying so much about fitting in and start deciding that every single person, inclusive of yourself, has a uniqueness that if we can get you tapping into it and sharing it, you are the greatest gift that you could possibly be to the rest of humanity. That is why we're all different. That is why we all have, different interests, different inspirations, different personalities, different all of that stuff, because if there's two of us, one's not necessary. We're all uniquely individual for a purpose. And if you go throughout your life trying to be somebody else that you see is better than you or whatever, you're selling not only yourself short, but the rest of humanity short. So the purpose of life should always be to tap into what your authenticity is, what you are uniquely most inspired by. You will be most willing to go above and beyond, serve a higher, grander mission, be of higher service to others, and be more innovative and have come up with creative new ways of doing things. And you just miss out on that whole purpose of life when you start trying to just fit in and mold yourself to other people at the expense of your unique genius. And on that note, I definitely want to make sure that each and every one of you guys has booked in a 15-minute power session with me. If we haven't connected yet, I'd love to get to meet you and see what your struggles are, what you're looking to achieve, how I could help you fast track that, break through any sort of limitations that are currently holding you back, and help you shift into a more empowered mindset. So I'd definitely love to meet you. Links up above for my calendar. So just book in a time. And I would definitely love to check in with you guys. Have you got any questions or comments or feedback for me? I'd love to engage with you. Anything that you want to share with the community here. Definitely don't be afraid of standing out. It's not about fitting in. So let me dive in and say hi to you guys. I've got Sam. How are you not sick of me, my friend? I love how much time we get to spend each week together. And Tavis is here, and Andrew, and Shakel, and Hassan is here too. You're not sick of me either. I love it. And thank you, Sam. You're a superstar. And Brian, awesome to see you back. And Melissa, awesome. And Darren, and Madeline, nice to see you. And Lorena, and Azza, and Judy, and Madeline, so glad to see you live. Likewise, I'm always grateful when I see your beautiful face pop up. So thank you so much for being here. And Suresh is here, and Filippo, and John, and Bruno, and T2, and Craig's here, and Andy, morning from the UK. I stand out, no fitting in. I moderate my behaviour, no tall poppy. I love that, Andy. So empowering. And absolutely, what's the purpose of just fitting in? Like I said, when there's two of you, one of you is not necessary, so absolutely love that. And I like how you said you moderate your own behavior. You don't need other people cutting you down. So that's awesome. Thanks, Andy. And Anthony's here, and Sam, valuable message from childhood. As a firstborn of 8, I was groomed to be a good boy without permission to live in my truth. Now I'm inspired, awake, happy, and living in my truth and greatness. Yes, you most certainly are, Sam. And it is my pleasure to bear witness to the journey that you're on. It is such an incredible one. And wow, I love that. And I actually just reshared a Facebook Live from just over a year ago now, which was on the 9 different childhood roles. It's in a really, really good book. Do I have it here on my table? Yes, I do. This book, one of my favorites, it's going to be back the front for you guys. Lovability by Robert Holden. I haven't recommended it for a while, but I've recommended it so many times. But a year ago, I'll link it up above after this video, but I went through the 9 different childhood roles that we as human beings feel that we need to tap into, being one or more of those particular roles in order to gain love and approval and acceptance from those people in our lives. But the challenge is that we don't leave those in childhood. We actually continue running those same patterns and playing those roles that are not authentic, into our adult years, and we play them out in all of our relationships. So I will link that. Thanks for that little pointer, about those childhood roles. Playing the good boy or girl is absolutely one of those, and it will absolutely empower you to understand and have language to understand why you do what you do. So I'll link that up above, absolutely. And so appreciate you, Sam, you superstar. And Alex is here. Awesome. And Madeline, thank you, Vanessa, for your message today. So true. You are so welcome. Grateful that this resonated with you. And Ian, I just made a post on that subject today. Thank you for always being so inspiring. Oh, thank you so much, Ian. And I love how our minds are in sync, talking about the stuff that matters. So I love that, Ian. Thanks so much. And hello to you, Anthony and AJ. I always love listening to you. Sometimes I get way too distracted by beauty, though. Oh, thank you, my friend. You're so beautiful, and I'm not talking about that. What is visible on the camera isn't that what really matters. Oh, AJ, you're touching my heart, my friend. I really appreciate your kindness, and I always love that you want to catch up and jump on live with me. Always appreciate you, and your words are very heartfelt. So thank you, my friend. Much appreciated. And Madeline, in Sweden, yes, this is a huge problem that no one should stand out. No, cannot stand it. How boring life that everyone should be the same. Absolutely, Madeline. I love your mindset. That's so cool. And I think it's kind of it's a common thing the world over, but in Australia, for whatever reason, we've named it, we've conceptualized it, and into that tall poppy syndrome. But absolutely, totally get you. It's that part of the what's the word that I'm looking for? It's not pack mentality, tribal mentality. Where we're just trying to fit in. And actually, I've done a video before. If I can track it down, I will link it to you guys, on the different levels of consciousness and the evolution of consciousness. And that tribal mentality of consciousness is quite low level. We have to be able to expand beyond that. And to get beyond that, that is being willing to not be liked so that we can actually be all of who we are and be loved for all of who we are. So absolutely resonating with what you're saying there, Madeline. And Lucy's here. Good to see you. Yay. And Flynn, awesome. And Sam, going through your program and training has helped me to discover my genius and living authentically inspired and empowered. Sam, I so appreciate your kind words. That's what I'm here to do. So you're touching my heart, and absolutely you give me an opportunity to live my mission. So I thank you wholeheartedly for that. And so grateful, like I said, to witness you on your incredible journey. You are such a beautiful human being, with so much to give and so much to inspire through. So thank you, Sam. And Rashida is here. And Brian, is there a role for darker emotions like anger and fear to help inspire and find your truer self? Boom. Abso-freaking-lutely, Brian. And it's so funny that you should ask that, because I just got off a 2-hour coaching session with my group, who I'm taking through a course, and I was coaching them on a tool that I gave them last week, which was a process of actually moving all the way through your emotional experience. I've got it right here, right now, but you won't be able to see it. So, but anyway, absolutely, what I was saying to my team is that every single human emotion serves a beautiful purpose. Okay, so anger all of it, anger, fear, all of it. Like, there is so much gold to be mined through every single emotion. But what keeps us small and limited is our judgment on our full emotional spectrum. So we think that we should be all positive, no negative. We should be all loving and kind and no fear and anger, but at the end of the day, all that does is actually get us suppressing parts of ourselves so that we can't truly be authentic. And, anytime we experience a so-called negative emotion, it's really just an alert to us that we're out of balance. And if we don't have the awareness of the emotion and ability to fully move through and beyond it, it'll just get in the way, and we won't actually grow and move to a new higher place. And so what I like to look at is every single challenging experience in our lives is here as a stepping stone for us, as a necessary stepping stone to get to a new height of our limitless potential. And so, those feelings of anger are there for a purpose and a reason. Instead of trying to dull them down and avoid them, look at them, bring them up to the surface, learn the lesson, realize that they're there to serve a purpose. They are a symptom of a grander cause. So, utilize them to build self-awareness, go deeper, go beyond, and move through. So, absolutely, whatever you want to term them, darker, negative, whatever, every emotion serves a purpose, and a grand one that will absolutely allow you to reach your highest potential. And anytime you don't think that and you judge it and you suppress it, you're limiting your own potential. So really appreciate your question there, Brian. Hope that answered it for you. And Sam, thank you for the book recommendation. You're so welcome. One of my absolute favorite books in the whole entire world. I call it the Self-Love Bible. Robert Holden, Lovability. Get your hands on it. You will not be disappointed. And AJ, speaking from my last post, I'm working towards a professional career and I'm worried I'm surrounding myself with people that value money or what people can do for them. And this is not what I am like at my core. I really want to invite people in my life that value me for who I am on the inside, but for some reason, that's a challenge. Anyway, to attract the right people, sorry if that's too long. No, not at all. I always appreciate you sharing your experiences, and definitely. So this is a topic that I could go seriously deep with, and it's something that I completely immerse myself within every single day. It's around personality psychology, and there's a lot of, every single one of us is wired differently in our brains, right? So we have different cognitive functions. There's 8 different cognitive functions or mental processes. We all have access to them, but what makes up our personality and what makes us different and more unique to the next person is in what order or sequence we actually utilize those different mental processes. And so to break it down really simply in terms of something that you might be talking into right now, you may be, and I'm just making a big assumption here because I haven't met you, haven't taken you through any sort of profiling session at all, but let's just say a challenge that you've just addressed there in the workplace is a very common challenge between people who are more feeling in nature versus people who are more thinking in nature. Feeling and thinking are just easy ways of saying how we make our decisions. Some people will choose to make their decisions with their number one thing that they're going to look at is the emotional impact that this is going to have on the individual, on the community, on the people. Whereas thinkers, on the other hand, they might consider the emotional impact of their decisions as just one element of them making their decision. But it's certainly not the most important, and they're going to look at a whole bunch of unemotional, logical, rational ways of making their decision. Probably more facts, figures focused. But then when we get into, say, business or any sort of relationship together, and we've got those opposing different ways of looking at how we're going to move forward, we can often run into conflict where the feelers think they're heartless, they're just after the money, and the thinkers just think, like, who cares about emotions? Like, we're running a business here, or we're trying to do this. Like, your emotions are just muddying the water, of what we're trying to achieve here. And so that was just a really, really quick way of articulating how when we can understand ourselves at the deepest level, and we can understand how we're all wired differently, and we can understand who we're dealing with, we can actually navigate those challenges and not make them mean the make or break of the connection. We can actually deepen our connections and know full well the whole purpose of me sharing this is that standing out thing. We don't want to be the same. We have to get to a place and a position where we know that we are different to the next person, and that's a beautiful thing. That is such an important thing, so that when we can understand our greatest gifts, their greatest gifts, and how we actually can connect, because their greatest gifts might be our greatest weaknesses and vice versa, we can see how all of our differences come together and serve each other, and we can find really intelligent ways of utilizing that. So going down the track of personality psychology, but you've absolutely, I feel like that could be something that could be so useful for you, AJ, in understanding yourself and others, so that you can get over the hurdles of the conflict and the misunderstandings that we all find ourselves in as human beings. So appreciate that, AJ, and appreciate you, my friend. And Vanessa's back. Yay, another Vanessa in the house. I always love it. And AJ, abso-freaking-lutely, haha. Yeah, I've got a few sayings going on there, don't I? Yes, I love that. And Rika, hey Vanessa, you are super inspiring. Thank you so much, my friend. That's touching my heart. And thank you for being here. And I'm absolutely certain that you are inspiring in your own unique ways. Absolutely. So thank you, Rika. Hope I'm saying your name right. And Norris is here as well. And Sean, great message. Thanks for sharing. Best wishes from the UK. You're so welcome, my friend. I'm grateful that this was of value to you, and thanks for being here. And Suresh, the book's name is Lovability by Robert Holden. I know it's back the front for some weird reason on Facebook Live. But yes, definitely get your hands on it. And Colin is here, and Chanel. Awesome. So guys, that really was my message for you. I'm really hoping that has got you triggered to think about, where in your life are you so worried about fitting in that you're too scared to stand out? And know full well that, remember, when there's two of us, one of us is not necessary. We want your unique gifts to shine out. We want your differences. Nobody else can offer the differences that you have. You have a genius. You have a mission. And when we can get you to tap into that and own it and fully align with that and have the courage to move in that direction, you are going to be your most authentic, your most fulfilled, and be of highest value and service to the rest of humanity. That is just how life works. So stop trying to fit in and be courageous enough to stand out in your own most authentic, unique ways. And Vanessa, you are so welcome, my friend. I'm super grateful that I get to see you again and you've come back. And you are definitely, we're all inspiring in our own unique ways. That's the purposes of today's message. I hope you get it, and I hope it's got you thinking, and I hope it's definitely empowered you. And as always, guys, I am sending you all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you, to wherever you are in the world today. I hope it's beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary. I'm just about to head out. Go get a few things done, and before the sun goes down. And I hope that today's message has definitely served you. And David, thanks for joining. Hope you catch a recording and get a ton of value from today's message. And Rika, because when I have someone who inspires me, I want to do the same. Absolutely, and that's the beautiful gift. If we can all know that the greatest gift that we can give to anybody else is our authenticity, and if we really want to have an impact and we really want to inspire others, be you. I know it sounds corny and it sounds weird and whatever, and it sounds a bit idealistic, but it's the absolute truth. Know who you are, know what you want, what inspires you at your deepest level, and have the courage to go after it. That's where your fulfillment lays. And don't let anybody else cut you down when you're on your path of inspiration. All right, sending you guys all of my love. Thanks so much for spending your time with me and joining me live. I so appreciate each and every one of you, and for your questions and your comments. Always inspiring and so energizing to me. So I really appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I cannot wait to see you tomorrow as always. Much love.